So 40 years ago, 35 years ago, I had a Diamond Reo truck. And I just recently got called out for saying that it was a 1958. Well, it's not a 1958, it was a 1954. I made a mistake. So here's my little video about my experience with using a Diamond Reo, 1954 Diamond Reo, to carry car parts at car shows. A lot of cool pictures from the old car shows of how much I could fit in that Diamond Reo, how many parts I could fit in that Diamond Reo and carry to a car show to make more money, and some of the pictures you got while sitting on top of that truck watching the drag racing at the shows. So here you go. Alright guys, welcome back to Motorhead Man. Coo Bill here. Finally been kicked out of the garage. The knees don't work too well when in the cold garage, and for me it's just not worth heating up the shop and laying out there and working on things, especially considering that I'm trying to run 2 different channels and I got videos I need to catch up on. So I've been getting comments. I got called out on YouTube for my Reo video, and that's fine. You know, not everybody's a troll. There's a lot of older gentlemen out there that know the facts behind vehicles. So I made a comment about the Reo, the Diamond T truck I did the video on. It was a 56, and I made a comment about I'd owned a 58. Well, somebody fact checked me. There wasn't a 1958 Diamond Reo. That was, as the gentleman informed me, that was after Diamond T and Diamond Reo converged together to make one truck. So I had to look back. It was 30 years ago, 25 years ago I owned this truck. And I'm going to show you pictures of it. I ran across this truck on the back roads in Delaware, and because I grew up, my father being a military guy and loving military vehicles, I have a passion for these old 40s and 50s trucks. They're just, man, what a well-built vehicle. So I'm going to put out a little video about the Reo that I had. It was a 1954 Diamond Reo. It was built to be a utility truck, or a lot of fire companies bought them to be rescue trucks. This particular truck that I found turned out to be from Tallyville Fire Company, Tallyville, Delaware, a little fire company. And it eventually got turned over to the state of Delaware that turned it into a civil defense truck. When I got it, it was painted dark blue. Well, at the time I was getting started in selling car parts, I only had my 79 Dodge 4x4 short bed pickup truck with 44-inch tires on it that I was using to go to the car shows carrying car parts. And let's face it, when you're vending at a car show, the more parts you have, the more money you can make. And I was supporting my habit to buy cars, and I was supporting my 3 girls by selling these car parts. So I was always on the lookout for something else. At that time, enclosed car trailers were like 30 grand. I don't know. I'm going to guess 30 grand at that time. They weren't massively built back then. And I didn't have the money for all that. I had three daughters to raise, an old house to keep up with, and I was just starting out in shops, which was paying shop rent and insurances and everything else. Plus, trying to build a race car and trying to buy more parts to make more money. So, and there's a lot of stories I'm coming out with. The next 2 weeks, you're going to get bombarded. I'm going to bombard my channels with stories. But let's get back to the Reo. So, I found this truck. I fell in love with it. It was a beautiful truck. Wasn't sure what I was going to do with it. Well, after going to one of the swap meets in my little short bed Dodge, I realized, hey, I need more room. So, I bought this Diamond Reo. It was a 54, let's be sure, 1954 Diamond Reo. I converted it, cleaned it out, got it running, put new wet sleeves in it, new pistons. The running gear was in pretty good shape. I cleaned up the motor the best I could with the abilities that I had, and I turned this thing into a parts truck. Now the pictures you're going to see are I drove this thing all over the place to car shows. Yeah, yeah, it was a big ass truck, inline 6-cylinder, and yeah, it didn't do 70 miles an hour down interstates. But boy, let me tell you what, with all the compartments in this truck, man, you can see in the pictures, I could pack this truck, and I never showed this truck any kind of weight. I put motors in it, blocks in it, heads in it, interior panels in it, doors, fenders. I piled this truck to the hilt. And 3 people could sit up front and drive to the car show. And we'd get there and unload, lay some plywood down, and bam, we had beds. Because inside was 2 bench seats, I guess for firemen or to be able to carry people, but then nothing but compartments on the inside. I don't have any pictures of the inside. But when we got there, you were able to, I had it set up to where you could lay a piece of plywood down in the back area and throw some sleeping bags down and sleep in it. And at these old shows, man, you went to the racetrack, you stayed there for 3 days and slept there. The pictures you're going to see are the Englishtown, New Jersey, that I drove this thing to 4 or 5 times. And man, I could massively pack car parts in it and carry a huge load in hopes to go up there and make more money, because I was supporting my family with it. So that's my, this guy wasn't a troll. He was explaining to me. I've seen the trolls out there, and I got another video coming up this week about the internet trolls. You guys love calling people out. Well, that's fine. Call them out. That shows who you are, especially with dumbass comments. And that'll be another video this week. But the guy that called me out on the Diamond Reo, you're right. You're so right. And I didn't take it as a troll comment, and I didn't take it as you were being know-it-all. Glad you pointed it out to me. I try to be as accurate. I try to be as accurate as I can when I'm making these videos. But I'm an old guy. I got ADHD. I'm hyperactive, and when I get going on these things, sometimes it's hard for me to get these videos out. Because when I'm out on the fly, when I'm out in the shop, or I got somebody helping me, and I'm trying to do them here in my office, I've got the tripod, and I can sit down and take more time to make the videos, and that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to get better at making these videos. So there's the story on my Diamond Reo. I love that old truck. I hated to sell it, but after, I don't know, I think we used it for like 10 shows. It really wasn't practical. Inline 6-cylinder, 5-speed manual transmission with a 2-speed rear. And this thing, you were lucky to top it out at 60, 65. And yeah, it just wasn't practical. Eventually I got a large car trailer and a different truck, and I was able to carry as much stuff as I wanted to the shows. So there's my story on my Diamond Reo. And thanks for pointing it out, man. I got no problem with somebody pointing me out. So it was not a 58 Diamond Reo. It was a 1954 Reo. But again, that was 30 years ago when I was first starting out. Young kid just trying to fuel his passion and find a way to make money, because I hated working at the dealership. So there's the story. Thanks, guys. See you again for the next story here real soon.